Good evening, Laker fans. It is January 7th, 2019. Currently, the Lakers are in Dallas playing the Mavs. It is 57-67 Mavs to start their third quarter. I have your new and improved Laker Weekly Update. Welcome to my channel, the RAS.Laker Girl. I am your hostess, Rachel A. Smith. And how are we going to break it down? Well, every week I'm going to start with the number one, power rankings. Number two, we're going to say, where have they been? And three, where are they going as far as our Laker boys go? So let's get to it. Number one, we have the week 13 power rankings. This is the middle of the season for most teams. We are absolutely on our 40th game tonight. What we have is number one in the power rankings, Milwaukee Bucks. They have a 27-11 record. They have this guy on their team called Splash Mountain. That is a Brook Lopez, former Laker one-year wonder. They have this whole Fear the Deer going. They're looking pretty good, but they have some holes. And number two, we have the Golden State Warriors. They have a 26-14 record. They are calming down with their midseason rifts and midseason woes. They're all just looking forward to Boogie Cousins coming back. Number three, we have the Toronto Raptors. They have a 30-12 record. Kawhi Leonard is still not playing those back-to-back games. He did not play Sunday. He did play against the Bucks on Saturday night. I'll talk about that in a moment. Kyle Lowry was out. He did return on Sunday. Let's see. Oh, yes, Kawhi Leonard did get booed in San Antonio. Looks like people are 50-50 as far as if he deserved a booze or not. Again, he won you championships. A championship for sure. I can't remember how many, but he took you far. So he deserves a little more respect, I think. So, Bucks 116, Raptors 123 on Saturday night. Both teams have very complete games. Both teams respect the rim and control the paint solidly. They do that outside shooting from three-point land. The Raptors are more of a mid-range jumping team than a three-point team. Both teams did have 6 three-pointers by the halftime each. So they also control, number three, the pace of the game. And they control that on defense and offense, and they do that by controlling the mid-court game, basically just either just passing forward beyond that, or basically trying to accept some defense, some steals, some regaining some ball control in the mid-court. It's actually pretty exciting to watch. It's just the game the Lakers are trying to build for themselves. And just the current way I think the league is going, and all NBA teams are kind of reaching for that goal of having this complete game. If you're looking for that complete player, that would be Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, as they call him. He basically embodies all three aspects of this NBA game. Now the difference between the Bucks and the Raptors, the Bucks are sitting at number one with more wins in the power rankings, and with more wins than the Raptors in the power rankings. However, I'm sorry, they have less losses than the Raptors in the power rankings. However, let's get back to that. The reason the Toronto Raptors won this game had to do with the ability of them to close. The Bucks have a great team. They play slow and steady. They put all their numbers up, and they will win. They do have a slight edge in closing, but I've actually seen them not be able to do this as well as, obviously, the Toronto Raptors or other teams. So the Bucks have something to work on. And who sits at number 14? The LA Lakers. We are at number 14. We have a 21-19 record. We are down from number 10 in the prior week. We are actually flipped 4 places in the Western Conference. We now sit 8th in the Western Conference. Basically, LeBron James went down on Christmas with that growing injury in that game against the Warriors. It was a great game, by the way. His next reevaluation isn't until Friday this week. I have my fingers crossed that he'll be back for Sunday's game. Rajon Rondo is still out with that finger. He's out a month. Kyle Kuzma is day-to-day as of me preparing this, but I believe he's playing against the Mavs right now. So, January 2nd, the Lakers lost to OKC. It was 100-107 OKC. It was a good fight. On January 4th, especially since it was just our young core, absolutely. On January 4th, Lakers were 112, Knicks 119. The Knicks got their 10th win of the season. They suck a lot, and the Knicks can't even deny it. That was their 10th win of the season. The Lakers were celebrating their 20th win of the season on Christmas, so it was a really total bummer to lose that one. On yesterday, January 6th, the Lakers 86, Timberwolves 108. Apparently, the Lakers lost so bad to the T-Wolves that they fired their head coach, Tom Thibodeau. They basically gave a promotion to Ryan Saunders, that is son of Flip Saunders. They just wanted to young up their coaching staff and their team or something like that. Basically, Tom Thibodeau's reputation is intact. Nobody really knows what happened. Everybody was kind of blindsided by this, but it seemed really planned to me, almost like they had planned on LeBron being here this week, the Lakers beating the team really hard, and then, oh, we have to fire the coach. D-Rose actually sat out that Saturday night game as well. Very interesting. I mean, yesterday's game as well. Very interesting, weird turn of events. So last week, no real defining game for the Lakers. Beasley has returned from the passing of his mother. I'm really sorry for his loss. That's actually very sad. I can't even imagine losing my mom. So Lance Stevenson, he has also stepped it up a bit. He always steps up the pace of the game, and he also reminds everyone to play defense. So speaking of defense, the Lakers have been able to retain their defensive rating during this slump without LeBron James, but we are missing our top scorers, LeBron James and Kyle Kuzma. And, of course, we're missing points from Rajon Rondo. That can amount to 50 to 70 points, depending on how well each of these guys is playing in a game. So on Sunday, Walton did try out an interesting lineup. JaVale McGee was returning from his pneumonia break. He missed 7 games. We love to have him back. He looks very good. And they also started Ivica Zubac next to JaVale McGee. This is never going to happen again. It was an absolute disaster. Zubac may not get another start for a while because of it. Lakers really just need to hang in there. This is mid-season woes. We have a bit of a rash of injuries, a bout of sickness. We sometimes just sadness and injury and unable to play just happens to teams in these circles and these spaces of time, and where a team just can't get out of it. And here we are, but we do see light at the end of the tunnel. I do see Braun coming back on Sunday. I don't see him not being able to play. So as I was preparing this, I mentioned again, we are at the mid-season. This is midterms. We're at game 40. And the Lakers right now, 76, Mavs 76 with 4 minutes left in the third. It was actually pretty exciting. It was really hard to stop and tape this, but I had to. I haven't even made dinner yet. On January 7th, the Lakers, that is tonight, the Lakers be playing the Mavs. We beat them the last 2 times. The Lakers get a really great ball movement against the Mavs, so we should be able to close this game. They do have an 18-21 record. That is a losing record. They are 13th in the Eastern Conference. They do have Luka Doncic, the youngest year league MVP ever. They have DeAndre Jordan, all-star center. Dirk Nowitzki be coming off the bench, and he looks really tan. Like this time off was really great for him in the Bahamas or wherever he did his therapy. Rick Carlisle, lover of the three-point game, so really task our defense on that. We better be holding it down in the fourth because we're about to win that game based on the last time I looked. And they also have J.J. Barea at the point guard position. A lot to look at in this Mavs game. If we can win this game, I think this is one of our tougher games expected for this week. So if we win this game, we're really heading out on a good foot. Because on Wednesday, January 9th, we play the Pistons at home in L.A. The Pistons have a 17-20 losing record. They are 9th in the Eastern Conference. Gage Bridgeford, oh, I did not write the name of the website. He basically put the Pistons with 1 foot in NBA purgatory. They have only made the playoffs once in the last 10 years. They did acquire Blake Griffin last year in that whole Clipper blow-up. disaster, what have you. But basically, they have heavenly hope now, and if they don't make a move, it's a disaster for them. They need this win. Lakers can beat them because they are pretty disorganized. You will need to hold down Blake Griffin, but not as hard as you think because other players would have to come up to make it worth the while to have him around. I will probably do a better pregame and scouting for the Pistons because we haven't played them before. Not promising. It depends on my energy. So Friday, January 11th, I plan on the Lakers beating the Pistons. So on January 11th, Lakers are playing the Utah Jazz. This is a game where we might have a lot more difficulty. The Utah Jazz have a 20-20 record right at this moment. They are 9th in the Western Conference. We are 8th. If they beat us, they have a winning record. They are in the playoffs. And they beat the Lakers, of course. On the November 23rd game we had against them, we had a 90-83 win against the Jazz. I thought it was our best defensive win for this season. Obviously, holding the Jazz to 83 points. But let's remember they have a full 3 now. I'm pushing this three-point kind of game that the NBA is moving toward. They have their Donovan Mitchell, their point guard, their ball mover. They have their Kyle Korver, their outside shooter, their three-point man, and they have their big Rudy Gobert. So it's a big 3 set as opposed to the big 2 or what have you. They have that nice big 3. Lakers usually run a 1-2 that I like to watch, but you have to expand the game as the game expands. So our next game, that is the game that I probably think we're going to struggle with the most. Of course, I think the Lakers can win, but I don't like to predict because my heart's in it too much. I'm just going to give you the information and let you decide. So Lakers Sunday, January 13th game. It's against the Cavs, and we are in LA. I'm really crossing my fingers that Bron will be back. He doesn't like to miss games. He's already missed 2 weeks. So yeah, the Pistons are an NBA purgatory. The Cavs are an NBA hell. Did I mention that they have an 8-32 record? They are 15th in the Eastern Conference. Yes, they are the worst record in the league. The Knicks are 13th in the East, and we lost them. So we have no excuse to lose to the Cavs right now. Eric Garcia Gunderson basically said his headline read, only Cleveland has a worse offense than the Lakers without LeBron, which means, yes, everyone thinks we can beat them. Their whole roster's been blown up since the last time we played them on November 21st. We beat them 109-105. Kevin Love has opted out for surgery. Of course, it's necessary surgery. And J.R. Smith has just opted out. We have no idea. I didn't have time to research that nonsense. But so because I wanted to get to one final point with the Lakers and where are they now and what do we need to pay attention to. So Lakers have that 21-19 record. Got my fingers crossed for a 22-19 record tonight. They are still retaining their playoff position. They are 8th in the Western Conference. Again, Rondo's out the month for the finger. Braun was 1 week with the groin. Kuz was day-to-day, but he is currently playing against the Mavs. Josh Hart has been starting in lieu of LeBron. He looks really great. He just did a buzzer beater for us to win the fourth quarter, 86 Lakers, 80 Mavs. That was my last time I checked the game. I am taping the game. So Sunday, they started Zubac in lieu of Kuzma. Again, that's never going to happen again. Never, never, never again. It was an absolute disaster to go with those 2 particular double bigs. Again, Kyle Kuzma did return to play tonight. So there is this assumption that the Laker boys would be as good as they were last year without LeBron James. So that's not the case because they don't have Brook Lopez and they do not have Julius Randle. Certainly McGee should be able to, Tyson Chandler should be able to replace that. However, when McGee came back on Sunday from his pneumonia, Kuzma was out with his back contusion. So another adjustment for the Laker boys. But tonight, they did get Kuzma and McGee back together, so we should be able to win this game. At least feel winnable and get some of that Laker confidence back. I've written this down very carefully because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but we've got a relatively positive schedule ahead against relatively crummy opponents in a really crummy situation. And basically, on paper, it shouldn't be that bad, especially with Nick JaVale McGee and Kuzma back. Um, except for the one great issue. I do have one big problem with the Lakers, and I've been talking about it with just about everybody that knows me. I don't know why they suck so bad at the same time. Um, the whole team sucks at the same time. I just haven't figured that one out, but I think I have it now because the Lakers have also shown an extreme talent to not close a game very well. It's a number one issue is that they can't turn it on. I was watching the Bucks versus Raptors game, and the reason why it just had my attention so much is because of the Bucks' inability to just turn it on. It's the Raptors were basically pushing up against putting the whole game, but it wasn't. There was no exerted pressure, so the Raptors just had to step it up just a little bit hotter to win that game, which they did. So nobody on our team can really turn it on and enforce their will over the game for a while. You know, really push for that win. Even LeBron James has a slow and steady kind of lumbering way of winning a game. It is his greatest weakness. It was my hesitation about him coming to LA. It is his most un-GOAT-like quality. Basically, right now, we are not Lakers Showtime, and there are no Lakers superheroes available to us. They're there. They're inside our team. It just hasn't really come out yet. So, Lakers need to learn how to get hot. I think I've come up with an absolute brilliant solution for how to teach this, because I know it is teachable. I've only seen one player do it consistently. This is like a personal confession because Kobe Bryant, look, I've only seen one player consistently be able to take over a game, basically enforce his will on a game, and change the players around him to either improve or have the opponents start to falter. And that is, of course, my GOAT, Kobe Bryant. It is my confession because I'm always arguing about it, but I have been watching the game since the 80s. I've actually listened to a significant number of Laker games because they didn't run on TV. That's how long I've been watching the game. It's why everybody knows my age, because I've been watching basketball for a long time and I have a 20-year-old child. But so I've been watching the basketball since the 80s. I watched legit Showtime. I had to go to bed on playoff night because, well, you know, playoffs can get late. And have to wait to wake up in the morning to know if we won the game or not. My mom would scream in the living room watching this game because she'd be so excited, and it just drive me nuts. But, you know, I lived through it in the 80s. Of course, I lived through the 90s. It was the Jordan era. And, of course, I lived through Kobe and Shaq and even the Spurs and the whole pop thing. And just a great ball, but Kobe Bryant is my GOAT. And I really don't like to bring up numbers. I love numbers and stats, but as far as Kobe Bryant being my GOAT, it's because I've seen him do it. I've seen moments. He has long-term stats. He has moments of just greatness, and many of them, and it's just fun to watch. So, and I do pose this one question to those who would challenge me, which I expect challenges because people are very, very passionate about this issue, is that when you shoot a shot, and when you have that moment of greatness in your office with your little paper ball, and you know, you feel that ice in your veins and all that stuff, and you hit your shot, you don't yell Jordan, and you don't love LeBron James. So that's what I say, and that's because you know what greatness feels like, and you want to feel that greatness too, so you reach for your GOAT, Kobe Bryant. So think about that for a moment. So, can this hotness be taught? Yes, it can be taught. I have seen a gazillion players go through the roster beside Kobe Bryant and have extremely amazing careers that would otherwise just probably not been possible without this Kobe exposure. So, my one trade deadline wish is that our boys get some Kobe exposure, maybe a phone call Kobe or something. I don't know. Laker fans, we just tend to reach for Lakers royalty when desperate for some inspiration. Magic Johnson is there. Kareem, he tends to do some consult coaching as well. So I really hope they're around. So, but what do we got? Well, Lakers, as I've said, have a tough week ahead of us. Lakers, I love you. You're about to be tested by fire. I think you might be beating the Mavs right now. I really hope so. I'm about to check. But yeah, what is that? Trial by fire again. Just keep figuring it out. We love you. We love you. We love you. I love saying that to my Laker voice. And Laker fans, hang in there. The ship will right. LeBron will come back in time. And thank you for so just calm down. Calm down. I know I have to. So thank you for watching my channel, the RES Laker Girl. I am your hostess, Rachel A. Smith. Good night.